Well, it's true that today it's very noisy. There are many, every day some news. Very difficult to read through them. So we need to distinguish between the noise and the fundamental trends. And indeed the market is very occupied by noise. But, I hear a lot, we need to buy the dip, for example, in the US, which is happening actually yesterday. But, what kind of dip are we talking about? US markets are still expensive. US economy is under a declining growth. We need to come back to fundamental valuations. And that's why we continue to believe fundamentally US equities are a little bit too expensive, while Asian equities at large still have a potential to grow further. So it's a long-term conviction. And noise can actually give some interesting catalyst to enter into the market and to play around volatility.
Back into the US, and we were speaking to Thomas Rupp earlier, and he's overweight the US. But I've got to say, recently the capital flows have been telling us a somewhat different story, with US exceptionalism, that narrative falling out of favour, and money heading back into Europe and back into China, yes, driven by valuation, but also driven by DeepSeek in China and the Rearm Europe program and policy as well. Do you continue to, or should we continue to participate in that movement, or is the leadership still very narrow?
Well, in fact, the starting point when Trump was elected was quite extreme. So a big overweight at large by many investors on US stocks, Europe forgotten, China deemed uninvestable, and only alternative in Asia was Japan and to a certain extent India. So now we've got a totally different setting, a renewed interest into Europe. So Europe used to be quite cheap on a relative basis. Now I would say Europe is fairly valued. So there is still some long-term interest into Europe because of the dividend yield of the stocks and of the better growth prospects. So at Amundi we revised down our US growth prospect for this year and next year. We revised up Europe and China, actually, you had to mention. And DeepSeek was quite a turning point. And today in China, when you look at it, you've got actually 30, 40, 50 DeepSeek available. So it's a game changer. And there are many other topics for which we believe China has still some potential to the upside. And so we start to see this reallocation of money. But I think it's only the start, and again, starting from a very stretched and unusual level of participation and valuation. So more to come, I believe, in this space.